Some people just let it happen. And they do just fine like that. They let it happen and everything works out fine. But others, most, maybe, for them just letting it happen means they won't be fine. So, if they can, they try to make a move, make things happen. It has to do with who they are, with how they are. There's a lot more to it, of course, but, well, I guess I gotta go now.
Welcome home, Jack. This ain't mine. Oh, sorry, Jack. Can't help you there. Calm down, man. Calm down, man. Hey, yo. You got him where you want him, Jack. Come on, get him. You got it where you want him, Jack. Come on, Jack. Do him like Tyson back in the day, Jack. Fight the game in like a whole sandwich. Fight that goddamn rib. Fight that goddamn rib.
Guys?
Jack! Wake up!
What are you doing? Get off! Stay back there!
Beat him and choke him and
Get off! You're choking him! He's trying to say something. Smitty, let him breathe. Just breathe.
You got something to say, say it. You're making me late for work. You need to check that wrong side of the bed stuff, Jack. It's getting real old around here. That's the second time in a month I've tried to wake you out of some nonsense and you grabbed me.
Out.
And bite me this time?
His meds are on the desk.
Thank you.
Woo! Nurse Crawford, they had us outnumbered. He's just a little screaming in his sleep, and they pile on like Mariano here, just closed out game 7.
Can you give us a minute, Hamilton?
Sure, no problem. I'm hungry anyway. Why don't you take 60? 59, 58, 12.2. All right, I'm out. Base.
It's just a dream.
It's not just a dream when you wake up fighting 3 staff members. I could increase your risperdal.
Just lost that weight.
A larger dosage at night, half AM, half PM. There are also a couple of other medications we haven't tried. I'll discuss it with Parker later.
I'm leaving on the 1st.
Yeah, we're trying to make that happen. We really are.
I have to go. Please. I have to.
I told you I had to go.
Sorry, Mike.
Hey. You good, Jack? You good?
Yo, Jack. Sometimes you just don't give us no choice.
Hey, guys.
I saw you make $300 in one day. You did 20 runs in one day. These are not fake. They're not stolen. My man works in the editing room. The quality is crisp, 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 like an apple. Crunch. Burns them right there on the low. Come on, $5 for a DVD. This one right here, the action is bananas. Miguel, that's your name, Miguel, right? You haven't seen this one yet. This one didn't even come out. And in Blu-ray, damn!
Get that stuff out of here, Dundee.
Yo, this flick right here, good flick, B. But put the kids to sleep first, because it's got some language or whatnot, you know?
Reviews too.
Yo, PG-13 don't mean nothing, fat.
How about you stick to the job I pay you for, the one day you decide to show up? Jack. All right, hold on 1 second, please. Madison and 39th to 45th and 5th, 57th between Broadway and 7th to 53rd between Maddie and Park, 60th and 5th to 63rd and Lexington.
Is that all?
We'll see what else comes in. He's on his way.
Let's go hit these mean streets, kid. 3rd Street's gotten a lot better out here. You're gonna be good there. $5, $5. What, that's not good news?
I'm not going.
Now, don't say that, man.
No, I'm not going to 3rd Street. I got an apartment.
Really?
Yeah, I looked it all up. I'm gonna be joining the club like you.
Yeah. Damn, that's what I'm talking about. What'd they say about it? I guess you drop it on them when you drop it on them. That's great news, though, Jack. Come on, that's how we do out here, kid. Keep it up, Jack. Attack, attack. Do your thing, baby.
man no sorry?
Sorry.
But that's it? Just sorry, that's all I get? Man, how about a hello? What's up? How you been? Man, damn, man, all this time I've been away, you lost your damn manners, Jack? Bad enough, you never came upstate to visit. Man, you know I'm just playing. What you been up to? Man, nothing ain't that bad. Looking clean, too. Rocking your little jacket and whatnot, little tie.
From work.
Yeah? Doing what?
Messenger.
Man, that's funny. You know, thinking of getting back in the business again my own self. Might even have something coming up soon. Like old times.
That's okay.
What's okay?
Nothing.
But it's okay?
I mean, I have to go.
Go where?
I just have to go.
But you sure it's okay?
I don't know, Travis.
Get the hell out of here, Jack. And the next time you bump into me or anyone else out here, you better show some goddamn respect.
Thomas,
Yep.
you were saying?
Saying. Oh, yeah, I took the practice test for my driver's license.
How'd it go?
I think I did really good. But really, there were a couple really hard questions. Made me really confused, kind of really scared.
Really?
Well, we talked about this. Fear and nervousness triggered by new places, new experiences, things like appointments and interviews and tests.
Walking, talking.
Breathing. How's that for a new situation one can't ever seem to avoid? New breaths every minute, every day.
I once had this job. It was a serious job. Responsibility, lots of stress. And I'd have
I'm
this
sorry, but
thing
what
where
kind of job?
I sold things, like that kind of job.
Sold what? To who?
Whom?
Like books or shoes. Anyway, sometimes this thing would happen to my eyes, where my eyes would become sensitive to light. So I wore sunglasses, which worked, but then they stopped working, so I needed to wear 2 pairs of sunglasses at the same time, which worked. Boss said that customers, they thought it was kind of strange. But 3 pairs worked best, but even I knew that looked kind of silly. Anyway, I don't have that problem now because I'm not scared of the light. The light's all right. Don't fight the light, right? But
don't fight the light. Light's all right. Don't fight the light, right?
Anyway, this was about my eyes. What is more important than the ability to see?
Certainly not your ability to speak.
Samuel.
So that nonsense doesn't even make a little bit of sense.
He can't say. No, he doesn't. He cannot say. Ginny.
He knows that.
Sorry I'm late, everyone.
You all know Dr. Parker?
Hello. From where?
From last week, remember? I introduced you.
What happened to Dr. Malecki?
Hamilton, Dr. Malecki died 1.5 years ago.
Damn. And Dr. Santos?
Santos left last month. He got a new job.
Damn. Damn.
We were just finishing up.
Well, we still got a few minutes. Jenny, I think you were speaking.
No, I'm done.
Anyone else?
Melissa. Jack.
I'm okay. Pretty good, actually.
Well, I've got something else to say. Speaking of pretty good, because Jack's gonna be leaving soon. I know how hard you've been trying to focus, to get things right. And it looks like you finally really have. Proud of you. That's all.
Good luck, Jack. Yeah.
Well, I'm leaving soon too, you know.
it's what we're all working towards.
Thank you, everyone. Remember to do your lists for our trip. Leave me alone. Jack. Jack. You ready?
You didn't have much to say tonight. Many think that group therapy and actively participating in it is an important part of recovery. Do you? Let's talk about your folder.
I'm still working on it.
Let's just get to know you, Jack.
Dr. Santos knew me well.
But Dr. Santos isn't here anymore. So now I have to approve your release in what, 3 weeks?
2 weeks. 2 weeks, 4 days.
Not much time.
The address change forms just got, I figured it out, it was pretty simple. List of clinics near my new place, cell phone applications for plans, I'm gonna need one. And just having a hard time figuring out, because there's a lot of them, and actually plus they're kind of expensive. There's a big list of everything I need to do with furniture and buying stuff. I'm still deciding on some things, so.
We're also just taking our time with things.
But we can't take too much time.
Why not?
Because I'm running out of time.
Why?
Because I'm ready to go.
Why is that, Jack?
I don't understand your question.
Well, I admit I haven't read your entire file.
I used to be pretty messed up, but I'm not now. So honestly, all I need you to do is to just sign the form. It says I'm good to go. Because I'm ready to go. I'm ready to live on my own. I'm ready.
Yeah, that's great to hear, Jack. So why don't you and Nurse Crawford do a psychosocial summary this week? And as for us, I'll schedule our interview for next Friday, 1 p.m. That's 10 days away. So between now and then, I'll study your reports and you'll stick to the transition plan you're working on. And if all goes well, and there's no surprises, then I suppose I'll be signing you out of here, as you say, all good to go. It's nice speaking to you, Jack. Yeah.
Oh, hello.
He's got to sign me out.
He doesn't have to do anything.
I'll just leave.
It's a terrific idea. There's not enough cities' homeless shelters with ex-patients who just left without the proper paperwork. Getting out of here the right way, with his signature, is no joke. So when Dr. Parker says you stick to the plan...
I was going to tell you.
When? When were you going to tell me? I called 3rd Street this afternoon, checking up on another consumer. Dolores told me you took yourself off the list, and you did it weeks ago.
I found an apartment, Denise. A real apartment.
3rd Street was the plan.
But I did better, right? And now this is a plan. A new plan. And I'm not going to change it. I set it all up on my own, you know. I talked to the super. It's going to be great.
Great.
We had this conversation.
I know. I'm early. But I was waiting.
doing, Jack?
What's up, Myra?
Hey. I'll be right back.
Hey, Dad.
Hi, John.
Excited about the team?
Probably not. My friends aren't playing this year. It's pretty much just Dominican kids.
What's wrong with that?
Won't get to play short. Told Mom you were moving.
You know, the apartment, the new apartment, it's pretty nice.
You told me.
You can come by whenever you want.
You told me.
I'll make you a key, and you come over like it's your own spot. Bring a girl, some drinks, whatever you want. Well, maybe not the drinks.
A little while ago, I asked her about what happened before you went away those other times.
What'd she say?
And I should ask you.
Okay.
Even though she told me about one time.
What time was that?
The time you almost burned the house down while we were all sleeping inside. When you put a stack of newspapers under the sofa at 2 in the morning and struck a match.
I don't know what to say. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, but there are other times too.
I was sick. I went away to get help. And I'm better now.
So that's good.
It is.
Can we play some games now?
That's good.
It's good? Yeah, it's pretty good.
Happy birthday! Why don't you open it?
It's a card, right?
Yeah, but what's in it?
There's only 2.
The game's on your actual birthday.
Mom's gonna say something.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. It's okay. I'll take care of it. It'll be fine. Normally, with the runner on third, you pitch from the stretch. I mean, that split second will kill you if you wind up.
But he wound up.
And he was off. Left third like a shot.
I think I could do it.
Sure you could. You're quick. Well, with none of your friends playing, you might want to leave that kind of thing up to the Dominican case.
If you know what I'm talking about.
Dad?
Yeah.
Do me a favor.
What's that?
Don't ever do that again.
Okay. Oh, hey.
Hey, no. What do you say?
Oh, thanks. I don't want to lose him.
You won't.
Okay.
See you next month, Jack.
Hey, Myron. Yeah, about those tickets, I got him for his birthday. I could only get 2.
You need to call her.
Yeah, I was going to.
You know how she is.
Yeah, I know how she is.
Just give her a call. Okay?
Hey.
You're really leaving? Maybe I'll leave here soon too. We can hang out.
We can hang out even if you don't leave soon.
Okay?
What do you like to do?
Well, today, all day, I feel like I'm telling you a secret.
I can keep one.
All day, I was really close to killing myself. Really close.
Do you wanna tell somebody else that secret?
No.
Will you tell me if it happens again?
What's going on?
Nothing.
You can go, Jack.
We were talking.
I'll see you tomorrow, Jack.
What?
What happened? Look, what happened?
Nothing.
Listen, Melissa, you have
Just
to
go, Jack, please.
Yo, Jack, there you are, man. I've been looking all over the place for you. You got a call.
Where's Smitty?
Left.
No. Hey, I can't.
I didn't say to come over here, Jack. Mira, caliéntame el mango, eh?
I got your message. I can still move in like before, Hector, right? Like we've been talking about, because you said this was all cool. I told them I was coming here, because you said you told me how much it cost, and then you said everything was fine.
Now the company doesn't want to let it go for less than $750 a month, and they want the first and last one around with a deposit. I'm sorry, Jack.
But it was so much less.
They put in a new kitchen. What can I do? I mean, I explained it to them. You know, about your mother used to live here, about trying to help you out.
But that's much more. I mean, it's like...
It's $2,250 up front.
That's not the plan. I gotta stick to the plan. I told them that I was coming, and that was the plan.
So can you still do it? Jack, do you still want the apartment?
Yeah. See, I have to stick to the plan. It's just the money part that I gotta figure out.
The money part's a big part, Jack. It's the whole part. They're gonna make me rent it, so you have to let me know. Soon.
It's 22.
It's $2,250 up front, then $750 a month.
200. 1,000.
Yeah. I'll write it down for you.
Okay.
I'll write it down for you, okay?
And 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna write it down for you.
Okay. Okay. And.
Firing me for unexplained absences just ain't right, man. I had plenty of explanations. Damn good ones, too. Please. Been over there 3 years on and off. You think for that kind of loyalty, you will be rewarded or it'll be worth something? All I'm saying is screw a fat hop.
I asked for more runs.
How many you got today? 5. You need to line up some other things. You need to diversify your employment scenario, Jack.
It's never worked out well for me working more than one job at a time. Nah.
I thought that's what this was all about, Jack. A new day, changing it up, bigger and better, moving forward, you know? Taking steps, left, right, left. Give me a minute. Turkey or ham?
What?
Yo, hold this.
Wow, what took you so long?
Traffic, man.
What's that? Speak up.
Traffic?
Wow, well, I just hope my ice cream isn't melted. It was last time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, man. Have a nice day.
I will if my ice cream isn't melted.
You see this shit? The whole world got problems, man. So what you need me to do?
Oh, I just need help figuring it out.
What's the figure? You need to make $900. $899.50 in the next 5 days, and a whole lot extra every month from now on, or get a cheaper spot, or stay where you are.
I'm not staying.
Cheaper spot.
What about the place you stay? It's nice?
Well, it's like a castle, bro. But all the apartments are full up. Maybe not the penthouse, but I don't think you could really afford that, bro. You know what? Maybe what you need to do is go to a reality, or like a Relator, you know, a rental office. They got mad listings, that's all they do.
Hi, how can I help you?
I need an apartment.
Oh, okay. What exactly are you looking for?
Something private for $500 a month, maybe $550.
$550?
Pretty much anywhere in Brooklyn or Manhattan would be okay.
I'm sorry, but there's just not much out there in that price range, so I gotta take this. Rentals, please hold. Sir, I'm sorry, but there's nothing here for you. Well, you can call me whenever you want, just after 2:30. Okay, thank you.
She works in the coffee shop at my office. And we started talking one morning, a couple of weeks ago. But you always get to that point where you don't know how much to tell them.
Less is more.
I told her a lot anyway. But I wanted to be honest. Plus, you always say that what we have is nothing to be ashamed of.
That's right.
And she seemed okay with it. So the next week, I asked her to a movie. And she said, yes.
That's great. What did you see?
I don't remember the title or the actors' names or anything, but it was a comedy. And it was pretty funny. I mean, I think that I laughed at all the right parts and everything. I was feeling pretty together that night. Plus, what you said last week helped a lot, Dr. Parker, so thank you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome, Charles. So what happened then?
We took the subway home. I wanted to bring her back to her house, you know, be a gentleman. I guess I was kind of quiet on the way back. You know, I was thinking about the movie and how much fun that I had with her. I wanted to ask her out again, you know, so I guess I...
What happened?
Well, we were on the platform, you know, just waiting for the train. It was the Q train. Sometimes it takes so long for them to come, you know. And all of a sudden she turned to me with a smile and she said, "Well, I hope you're not thinking of pushing me onto the tracks." Like I'm, you know, like that's...
Charles. Charles? I'm sorry.
How did you respond?
I smiled, like I thought that the joke was funny. And I know that I should have said something. I should have told her that what she said was wrong, you know, and mean. But I didn't say anything. So when she got on the train, I got on with her, and then I got back off right before the doors closed. You know, I walked home. There's other fish in the sea anyway, right? Plus, it's,
I have
it's
a
not
question, you could call it.
Vivica, let's let Charles finish, okay?
I'm done.
I knew that.
But he wasn't done.
But I want to ask you about the internet we have going on around here. It's wireless, right? All around us is doing what it does, the way that it does, with sounds and information and pictures. You get what I'm saying? I want to know what exactly is protecting us from all this stuff. I'm asking.
Vivica, it's safe. And I really don't think it's helpful to get into all this again, so let's just move on, okay? Anyone? Jack, that's great. You got something to say?
I do. Maybe you could just check the internet again?
Excuse me?
For her, for Vivica. It seems to be a concern of hers. So maybe you could just double check and let her know that there are absolutely no problems.
Thank you.
There is no problem.
Well, I don't know about that, because I keep asking, and I'm really not getting the right answer here.
Look,
I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Look, I think this is probably a good time to stop for today. Thank you, everyone.
Wait, why are you going to stop when I have a question?
Look, we'll talk privately in my office, you and I.
But this concerns everyone.
Group's time is up, Vivica. We can talk privately.
No, you need to slow down here.
Look, we'll talk.
And you need to listen to me, Dr. Parker, and stop acting like I'm crazy like the rest of everyone in here with their meds and no meds and craziness under control, over control, around control, below, within control, complete uncontrolled. I'm not.
Let's go to my office, okay?
No, everyone hears voices. What do yours tell you? That I'm crazy? Don't listen to yours, okay?
Okay.
Listen to me.
Okay.
Listen to me.
Down, okay?
Listen to me!
Okay, we're gonna listen to you. We're gonna listen to you. But we need to listen to you when you're calm, right? Right?
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Okay, you gonna listen to me?
Definitely. Are you gonna be calm? Mm-hmm. Okay. That's a deal. That's a deal.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's all right.
It was a serious problem that they hoped to overcome by taking their time and trying to get close to him. This 70-year-old male, who was so playful just a few days before, was no longer in the mood for fun. He was on a hunt for food, and divers just aren't on the menu. Unlike most sea turtles, adult green turtles are herbivorous, feeding on seagrasses and algae. Juvenile green.
You okay today?
Can I tell you something? I shouldn't have said that to you.
But you did.
So you tell me something, maybe we'll be even.
You know that apartment I'm supposed to go to? They raised the rent. I can't afford it.
Ask Denise what to do.
If I don't have any place, I'm not going any place. And that can't happen.
I know I haven't been here that long, but I mean this place.
Get away from me! This thing is going It's in the air! It's in the air! No!
Vivica!
Look at this! That's so big! I told you what I've been seeing! That's what I've been seeing! That's what I've been seeing! Look it up! You have to watch the wireless! You have to watch the wireless! Please! I shut the wireless off. I told you. The wireless isn't gonna hurt you. Okay. Just relax. Okay. Because you know it's not me.
I know.
You
I
know
know.
that, you know
Let me get the truth.
friends.
I know. It's not gonna hurt you. The wireless is not gonna hurt you. It's okay. It's okay. It's not gonna hurt you. Just calm down.
Vivica! Stop! Vivica, stop!
Come on. Vivica!
Come on, Leo.
This isn't right.
It happens.
But it didn't have to happen, not this time.
Why not?
He could have just told her what she wanted to hear, and with her medication.
Oh, don't stop because of me. No, seriously. Seriously, I want to know. It sounded like you have an opinion as to why Vivica had this break.
I don't.
Sure you do. You feel she's in that ambulance now because I didn't stroke her head softly and indulge her hallucinations and delusions.
I just don't know why you couldn't tell her what she wanted to hear.
And that's my point. You don't know. And the next time you want to participate in my group, maybe you can limit your comments to something about yourself. Instead of publicly second-guessing my approach to one of the other consumers, because you really don't know, Jack. That part you got absolutely right.
All right. Thank you very much for those who were earlier than anticipated, or maybe based on the flyer description. Again, we apologize, but I want to acknowledge that mistakes do happen. And my name is Warren Clark because I'm front and center. Yes, I haven't worn a college shirt in a while, so I felt like putting on one. I trust I am doing it justice today. But again, my name is Warren Clark, and I am an assistant professor in the anthropology department at the University of Manitoba. Before we get into things, I do want to do a land acknowledgement here, where I'm situated here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And I want to acknowledge that the lands that were situated in the Sanabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Dene people, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation, where I situate myself on. We respect the treaties that were made on these territories. We acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to move forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in the spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. And we do have one more acknowledgement, which I'm going to hand to one of our coordinators for today's event, Maya Simpson, who's one of the coordinators of the event, will give our African descent acknowledgement. Thank you.
I do not have that acknowledgement, so yeah.
Okay, then I thought we were doing that. Okay, my apologies. All right, as everybody comes into, well, a lot of people are just coming in. This is awesome. So just want to acknowledge we will do that one acknowledgement, but I will also acknowledge that this event is also keeping in mind of African descent people from a Canadian perspective. And we do acknowledge that this is an opportunity for us to make an attempt to create opportunities to not only address mental health concerns, but to create a relation of solidarity within our African descent communities. So we can better understand our traumas, better understand our lived experiences, understand how we assert ourselves politically, economically, and socially in this white settler Canadian nation state. So thank you very much for being here. And just moving on to the this event, also want to acknowledge that we are in partnership and with the Royal Bank of Canada, the University of Ottawa, the University of Manitoba, and also Carleton University. Also, this is part of one of the initiatives that I've been very fortunate to run for the many years, called the Afro-Caribbean Mentorship Program. And we're going to play a little video, a short video, sorry, on what the ACMP is. So please, Adele, can you help me with that?
So ACMP is a mentorship program that's focused on supporting the success and development of Afro-Caribbean and Black students. And we realize that these students face a unique set of challenges during their education and their time at university. And so ACMP tries to help these students by positioning them to overcome those challenges.
Well, I consider myself youth, I guess. I'm 19. So I think I love hearing this question on how we can, make the youth want to go to post-secondary. That's something I'm very passionate about. And as Warren just mentioned, I'm so beyond grateful I got the chance at Carleton to learn about the ACMP, because I believe in mentorship. I think it's so important for youth to see themselves in this position and have someone to kind of guide them, especially when there's in predominantly white institutions.
Mental health concern. It doesn't have to come in the form of the N-word. You already see this a lot in our institutions, high schools, universities. We see this a lot when we come to know that our Black students majority of them are being streamlined to applied courses and not academic courses, which derails their moments or their opportunity to get into post-secondary education. That in itself is anti-Black, or connects to anti-Black racism. It also connects to creating a barrier to education. It also connects to the stripping of your right to knowledge.
Extrovert. I want students to feel comfortable. We're a community, and that's like the power of the community, right? Is feeling comfort and feeling supported and not feel alienated. So that's like one thing I want students to know is you're not alone, you're supported, and you got this. And it's just all love, all support all around.
Thank you very much. So for more information about the Afro-Caribbean Mentorship Program, please visit weareacmp.com. But just really quickly, we do, with the ACMP, we've been very fortunate in the Ottawa area to run programs such as financial literacy, more than networking, which is one of our popular events, and teaching and encouraging and supporting African descent students and the importance of networking within or among professionals.
So please, for more information, please visit weareacmp.com. But aside, that's tied to another thing that we also acknowledge is the Black Student Union at the University of Manitoba. And so I've been very fortunate and very humbled to share this space with the Black Student Union here. So I'm not sure, TT and Reem, do you want to just say something really brief about the initiative you're doing in Manitoba, please?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Warren, for shouting us out. So at the BSU, the Black Student Union, we formed last year of 2020, year of 2020 during the summer. And our initiative is basically to collaborate with other like-minded organizations and host events and provide opportunities for the Black students at the University of Manitoba.
Thank you very much, much appreciated. So you're probably asking yourself, what is going on with this event? Well, thanks again for being here on time. And when we speak about mental health awareness, it is a very important topic, not to acknowledge generally, but we can, think through what it means from an African descent lived experience. I've been always an advocate and always acknowledging that anti-Black racism is a mental health concern. And when you think about anti-Black racism, it's not just a one and done thing. It happens so often. Sometimes it can disrupt the way you think, the way you engage socially, politically, and economically in this white settler Canadian nation state. But one of the things that we want to acknowledge, particularly with the series of events we've been doing all January, this January, is how do we bring attention to mental health concerns in different facets through panel discussions, through presentations, and tonight through a movie by the name of Home. And I've been very humbled to discuss or to watch this movie, which is directed by Jono Oliver, who's here with us this evening. And Home is a depiction of a Black man who has a mental health concern, and he's working through his mental health concerns to then focus on sustaining a independent style living. The one thing that I really appreciate of the movie, it really makes a good depiction about the differences between a home and a house. And here today is Jono Oliver, who would like to welcome everyone, introduce to everyone, and I also appreciate Jono for allowing us to display this video. And I know he's, Jono, if you're there, there you are. Thank you very much for having us. But before we get you speaking, we're just going to introduce you to the crowd, and I trust that we do this with justice here. So, Maya, can you please read Jono's bio, please? Thank you.
Sure. Can everyone hear me? Okay. So, Jono Oliver, a veteran of film and television productions for many years. Jono Oliver has directed episodes of the network television shows For Life, Lincoln Rhyme, The Hunt for the Bone Collector, American Soul, The Enemy Within, Law and Order SVU, Chicago Fire, Bull, Chicago Med, and Second Units, and many others. In 2013, Jono wrote and directed the feature film Home. The film was nominated for an NAACP Image Award for directing, an honor he shared with the directors of 12 Years a Slave, The Butler, and Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom. Home won a 2014 Prism Award and a 2014 SAMHSA Award for its positive portrayal of people suffering with mental illness. Jono previously worked for many years as an assistant director on projects including Fences, The Affair, Blue Bloods, Notorious, The Great Debaters, Law and Order, Barbershop, Snake Eyes, and Soul Food, among others. Welcome.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here, Jono. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad it worked out.
Yes, thank you. I have to admit, when watching this movie, and again, we want to respect your time this evening, but when watching this movie, as I mentioned a moment ago, the concept between a home and a house really hit home for me. But also, my research is deeply rooted in Black masculinities, particularly Black young men, and how they associate them or assert themselves economically in this white settler Canadian nation state. When you think through mental health, one of the things that also comes to mind is how do we appreciate and understand it from that gender and race perspective. So I have one question to ask. Maybe we can squeeze in two. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, no, I have the time. It's all good.
Thank you very much. All right. So really, I just want to ask one question. What message do you want viewers to receive after or watching this film?
You know, I don't know. I mean, as a filmmaker, I'm just happy that you guys are showing it and people are watching it and talking about it is the bonus. I mean, that was when I set out to make this film in the first place. I think it was really just to try to spark conversation about issues and you know, when you look at it on the surface, it's about a guy who's trying to move out of his group home into his own apartment. But I think you've obviously done a lot of work looking at it, and just I know from the questions you kind of unofficially kind of threw at me earlier, I know you're going to hit kind of everything, because I've tried to make it all, I tried to just bring up a lot of issues, how the family looks at people who may be struggling, how the community looks at people who are struggling, how certain providers, caretakers you would think would be kind of a little more behind people look at people who are struggling. And part of what I did to do this film, and it's funny when the woman just 2013, you know, it's been a little bit, it's been 8 years since we came out with it, but you know, fortunately or not, it's still, the issues I think are still they're still very important, and there's a lot of I don't want to say problems, but a lot of questions that the film looks at that I think are still completely unaddressed. And unfortunately, I think there's still people falling through the cracks and kind of not getting treatment they need. But so in that respect, just the fact that you guys are talking about it and people are talking about, you know, the issue with a capital I is great. I'm not in the field. My parents were social workers a long time ago, but I've never studied for it, and I'm not really in it. So I'm a little reluctant to kind of get too deep into the weeds on policy and stuff like that. But what I will say is, just as a person who looks at other people as people, I think it's important for, I'm glad that you guys are looking at the film, because I think other people should look at it, because I think part of what it does is it kind of, hopefully, you know, stigmatization I mean, that's a loaded word, and I don't want to say it leads towards this kind of destigmatization of certain things, but it's certainly kind of what I tried to do in the depiction, not just of Jack, the main person, but the other 8 to 10 people in the home who we get to know relatively well, is just make them seem like the people that they are. You know what I mean? I did this film kind of coming off. And even when I was doing research for this movie, when I knew the story was when I knew that this was a story I wanted to tell, even doing research, you know, it's hard finding good depictions of people who are struggling with this kind of issue, either on TV and movies, who don't turn it into a joke or make them into a serial killer. You know, it was hard finding just true depictions of people who are struggling with their mental health and going through things and trying to get help, because a lot of, you know, that's what it is. It's like, hey, we'll laugh at them or we're scared of them. Those are like the two main depictions that you see in movies and TV. So just to try to do something that kind of broke that a little bit, and you know, that was my goal. And so fortunately, you know, it feels like it worked. And I spent a lot of time doing research, and I had a couple of really good people. One woman in particular, a woman named Dorian Wall, who's a psychiatric nurse here in New York, and she was invaluable. And she was on the show for a good, I mean, she was definitely there during shooting, and I was talking to her for a year or 2 years when I was writing the script, just to try to make sure that I wasn't screwing it up. And you know, that was very important to me, because I didn't want to sugarcoat it either. You know, I didn't want it to make it seem like, hey, everything's great. And, you know, I mean, and so I think we kind of hit a good balance with not just the depiction of Jack, but even just how, from what I've heard, that people who see it, they've applauded the fact that as much as you can in a movie, it's relatively accurate. And so that is something I didn't want to mess up, because then whatever message you have behind it, obviously, if it's not truthful, it kind of goes out the window. So I think we did a good job with that. So, I mean, ultimately, come back to your question. I mean, if people are watching it, and firstly, if people enjoy it for a couple hours, and, you know, there's some heavy parts in it, but for the most part, I think it is you know, it's a positive story and uplifting, and the performances are great. And I think the humanity that these guys bring to these characters is just something I'll always be proud of. All the actors did it for very little money, and they came in and, you know, hit it out of the park in a lot of situations. And so I know some of the scenes you're showing, and people will see it for themselves later and make their own. You know, I don't want to sit here and and pump it up too much, but, you know, I'm proud of the film, and I'm grateful that you guys are showing it.
Thank you very much, Jono. And, you know, I'm going to toot your own horn. I do this respectfully. I think we should pump up this film. I really do.
Oh, thank you.
You know, it touches on many themes. You actually started answering my second question, so I'm going to switch it up a bit. Not to throw you off guard here, but
sure.
you know, we've seen a lot of criminalization of Black men in the States. We see that even continuously, even if it's in mainstream media or not, it continuously happens. But here well, home for me in Canada, when I was watching this film, it reminded me of Abdirahman Abdi and his story here well, not here, it was in Ottawa, Ontario, the nation's capital. And Abdirahman Abdi was killed by the police, and he suffered from mental health. You know, one of the things that the police didn't know is that he was suffering from mental health concerns. And I encourage folks who don't know the name Abdirahman Abdi, please look it up. But you know, when we think through these moments of criminalization or criminalizing and othering Black men or Black African descent people who have mental health concerns, you know, how do you think your film can contribute to a learning and understanding, particularly through policing? I'm not sure if you've even given that any thought.
Well, I have a lot. I mean, I don't look at it from my film doing much, you know, I don't want to, unfortunately, I think a lot of people who get the most out of it, it's kind of like the preaching to the choir thing. You know, I mean, you know, people who tend to gravitate towards watching in the first place, I think are people who probably have the right healthy attitude about this issue and about people who are dealing with mental health issues in the first place. Yeah. But that being said, it was, you know, I remember I have a friend who's a old friend from high school who's a cop, and I remember him bringing, when I had the screening 7-8 years ago when it first came out, bringing a bunch of cops to watch it. And I remember thinking, hey, that'd be kind of cool if just one of them, you know, and I didn't really get into it with them. But looking at them, I wasn't quite sure how they would approach a situation where they were perhaps dealing with, you know, an African-American man who was maybe kind of, you know, not doing well that particular day, whatever. But I felt like it was a good step, like I said, just to show someone who's not a serial killer or a joke, who is just trying to live their lives and is going through something that's a valid health issue that, you know, a lot of people try to, you know, say, well, mental health issues are comparable to cancer or comparable to heart disease, and, you know, just different ways, and that people are dealing with something and they need help to get over it. And so it was at the time, like, looking at cops who might be exposed to a different side of it, it was a good thing. But certainly this movie's not enough, nor any movie's not enough. It's something that has to be done within departments, and there has to be kind of training. I will say though, even recently, you know, here I'm in New York, and our new mayor talks a lot, and hopefully he will bring a lot of stuff behind his talk. But even now there's a plan to bring mental health professionals into the subways, because over the pandemic, the homeless and mentally ill people in the subways has become such a big problem. And, you know, but there too, out of the thousands of people who are living in the subways overnight, you hear about the person who pushes someone into a tracks. And it's interesting in my movie, I think, you know, there's a whole scene about that, where a guy is trying to fight the fact that when someone finds out he has mental illness, the first thing they think is, oh, you're going to push me on the tracks, because it is such a, you know, that's a narrative we tend to get. So even though there are, you know, I mean, we know the statistics, 99.9% of the people are nonviolent and are just trying to kind of get through their day and maybe off a little bit and maybe present themselves as someone who might be concerning to others, but the reality is they're not dangerous. But yet still, we only get the stories we get are the dangerous ones. And it's, you know, to this day, it casts a negative, you know, shadow on just this whole recovery that people are dealing with. But at the same time, it is encouraging that at least I've heard that there's going to be more effort to go into, in this case, just the subways. And, you know, I mean, there's homeless shelter. I mean, there's so many areas where people are falling through the cracks, but, you know, I guess you have to be optimistic now that maybe something will change. And you know, my film is just a small part of keeping the conversation going. And yeah, so I don't put too much behind what a movie can do, or TV. I think it's good that it's there, but I think ultimately it's bigger policy issues and outreach to, you know, police departments and the people who have to go in and deal with people to explain to them that there's a better way to approach people, as opposed to the ways that they might have been trained, or just what they picked up in their own lives of how they deal with people who are going through mental illness.
Yeah, I appreciate your answer. You know, I respect that. You know, a few things as you're speaking, a few things come to my mind, right? And one of the things that I'm thinking through in this moment with you, and I appreciate you, is, you know, this is, you know, I'm not sure if you have the same approach in the States. I haven't been in New York in so long, but we have this this phone, you know, company, and there's no shade to Bell Communication or Bell Mobility, but they have this monthly campaign where it's like Bell Let's Talk Month, right? And I'm all for let's talking. I'm all for let's acknowledge. I'm all for let's appreciating people. But after the campaign, it's like there's no more talking. It's like this publicity stunt. Like we've done it. We've done our talking, and let's move on to the next topic. And I know we live in a very fast-paced environment and things are going on, but keeping in mind that we're living through, and you mentioned this yourself, a pandemic, which is not only impacting people health-wise, it's impacting people mentally. And one of the things that particularly for our events, I'm sorry if I'm being long-winded here, particularly for the series of events we have for January, it's actually acknowledging that we are, African descent people are not only dealing with mental health concerns, but they're dealing with anti-Black racism, and I think that gets missed like all the time. When we're talking about mental health, it's just homogenizing, grouping people together and saying, yeah, we all have the lived experience, we're all assuming we have lived experience and dealing with the same mental health concerns. But when I think about anti-Black racism, let's set aside gender for a moment. I think that's a mental health concern. What are your thoughts about that, if any?
I'm sorry, about anti-Black racism as
a mental health
contributing to. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, I think it's good that I think it's nice that you made that distinction, because I think all too often a lot of us who, especially in the States, when you've grown up with it, and I've no shame, I'm 56 years old, so I've been around for a minute, and you just, and there was a time I was like, oh, it's going to get better and better. In the past 10, 15 years, I'm not sure. You think it's getting not better. And certainly that pressure on so many people is, it's undeniable. It's undeniable. It's a little hard to think about, because when you say, well, how do you correct that? It's, it's hard. I'm not quite sure, I'm not sure. I mean, in our country, especially, and I mean, you guys have followed enough with the whole rise of Trump and the right, and I don't even want to say conservatives. It's just there's a whole group of people in politics who just have kind of really just terrible ideas about what we are and how people should be treated, and yeah, a lot of it's based on race and gender and all that. I mean, all that stuff. So part of me doesn't think about it too much, because you just get overwhelmed, And as a filmmaker, I just want to kind of do things that hopefully can just chip away. I don't think anyone, it's hard to come up with something that kind of solves all these issues. But yeah, I mean, racism is something that even I probably take for granted as to how much it impacts how you're doing on a particular day, but when you're used to it, you get used to it. And it's sad that should be the case.
Yeah. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I encourage those who are listening, please watch this film. We're going to play segments, obviously, but Jono, really appreciate this time. Thank you for
absolutely, yeah.
My questions. I trust I don't feel like I'm a journalist or something, like hard-hitting questions. But
no, they're great. No, like I said, I appreciate that. I appreciate the interest and the deep look at it, because I did. There's a lot in the film that I think. And part of what the film is about is that, as you saw, is I did want to try to take the edge off, although the main character is an African-American man. I did try to broaden just the whole concept of people dealing with mental illness, because I really wanted a kind of a multicultural group around him in the home, which I was successful in doing. And part of that was to maybe address kind of what you just brought up, that I know in people's heads, even when people say, oh, you think of like a mentally ill homeless person in New York, they're probably thinking of a Black guy, 35 to 40 years old, kind of yelling at himself or pissing on himself in the subway. Like that's kind of how that's the image we've been fed. And it's not accurate, and so but again, everyone on this call probably knows that or is aware of that. And so I think changing that narrative isn't just in a film or a couple films or documentaries, but it has to be in everything. It's how the media depicts people. It's the story. Like I said, the stories, and you have to tell the story about someone gets pushed in the subway track, I guess, but it seems like there's an awful lot of, there's not a lot else. And so, so you get a situation where I think that it kind of perpetuates itself, just these thoughts that aren't based on reality about who's guilty of, and then it perpetuates, then it becomes more of a Black thing as opposed to a mental illness thing, and you know, there's kind of, at this point there's really no room for it because it's not accurate, and it's easy enough to find it that it's not accurate. But there too, I think there's a lot of people in our country who just ignore facts all across the board, whether it's you know, take a vaccine, it'll save your life, or whether it's you know, I mean, there's so many problems here. It's hard to get into it, but
yeah, I feel you. It's the same thing over here. Maybe just a different ideology, but it's the same, you know. And John, I really appreciate your time again.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
absolutely.
it.
And thanks. And I hope you guys enjoy the clips. And yeah, the movie's on. I guess it's on Amazon if you need it. But
yes, Apple
TV.
TV. That's where I got it. But please, we're going to get into it now. But John, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
For allowing us to play this video, and we will talk very soon.
You got it. Thank you, Warren. Take care. Thanks, everybody. All right.
Thank you. So we're going to move on, and now we're going to talk about Zoom etiquette, because we are dealing with some sensitive topics, and we want to ensure that the first event, which was a success, I want to appreciate those who were involved in terms of just listening, sharing, and just nodding while you're at home. I know I felt the energy, so I want to appreciate you. Thank you for doing that. But we understand that people are going to be excited to share, and people are going to be wanting to share some vulnerable things about themselves. But we want to take this moment to respect people's vulnerability and maintain and try to sustain a relationship of solidarity with all of us. You know, it's going to take all of us to get through this, including me. So let's know how to take space, make space, but respect space and respect people's opinion, thoughts, and vulnerabilities. If you have a question to contribute, please raise your hand or the icon. Actually, the icon. I'm probably not going to be able to see you, but which is going to be the emoji icon on here. Sorry, my Zoom knowledge is petite. But anyways, please use that Zoom emoji or put comments or questions in the chat. But we want to ensure this is an interactive conversation. The more we talk, the more we learn. And if you want to share, we would appreciate that. Tonight, we will have the Black Student Union, TT and Reem moderating the event. So let's support them and let's get into things moving forward. So TT and Reem, please take it away. Thanks. And I will be cueing your video.
Okay, thank you, Warren. Like Warren said, my name is Reem, and TT is also from the Black Student Union. She's the Vice President Advocacy, and I'm President. And so I'll be asking the questions, posing the questions to the audience, and just giving a brief description of the clip we're going to watch. And then TT will be translating it for the French audience members here today. And so I'll just add a few friendly reminders. Just understand that these events are focused on mental health, so it can expose a couple of vulnerabilities for people. This is not, however, like a therapy session, so just be mindful of that. If you do get triggered, feel free to take a step away. There are break rooms that Warren has implemented into the Zoom meeting, and yeah, there are people there who can help you out.
All right, and then I'll just go over those rules quickly in French. Alors, nous comprenons que cet événement concentre sur la santé mentale et cela peut exposer des vulnérabilités pour des personnes. Nous voulons seulement mentionner que cela n'est pas une session personnelle avec un conseiller. Même si nous avons des professionnels présents, on encourage tout le monde à être respectueux. Et dernièrement, si vous vous sentez mal à l'aise ou vulnérable, tu peux partir ou débrancher votre caméra ou micro. S'il vous plaît, envoyez un message si vous n'êtes pas confortable et on peut vous placer dans un breakout room avec Warren et il peut vous offrir de la compagnie et du support émotionnel.
Okay, thank you, TT. So Warren, if it's okay, we can play the first clip.
Do you want to give a description, or did you give a description?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this first segment focuses on the main character, Jack Hall, and he's demonstrating a sense of vulnerability with his son by discussing his mental health issues.
Ce segment du film centre sur Jacques, le personnage principal. Il démontre de vulnérabilité avec son fils quand il discute ses concerns avec son santé mentale dans le passé.
Next?
Yeah.
It's not the busboy's fault if the food doesn't come out cooked right, okay?
But that's...
No, you need to ask nicely, all right?
Thank you.
Excuse me. I'd like some more cream, please.
Sandra, you see what happens, right? We talked about that, right?
Don't touch that.
What kind is it?
It's pink. I said don't touch it.
Buddy, I've already had a hard day. You don't have to have that tone in here, especially not with her.
I need people to stop acting so wild in here.
All she said was she likes your cake.
Okay, where's Paul now?
He's not here today.
All right, once a month, we never had a problem. Is today going to be different?
I don't know. Look, if you want to be sure, just come back when he's here.
Okay. All right. I think we're gonna go somewhere else. We're gonna, yeah. No, we're gonna go somewhere new. We're gonna go somewhere new. They look really good.
Hey, man.
But we're gonna.
What? Apologize to her. I heard you. You can't go around talking about
Samuel.
people like that. You can't just go around calling people names
Like
like
that.
that.
Cool.
Samuel, come.
No, I heard him. He called Jenny a name.
Okay, Samuel.
You know what? No, okay, no, listen. No, all of you, get out.
Well, hey, you have got some nerve.
I have nerve. You bring this group in here, ordering ridiculous things. This one with the cake. That one hasn't bathed in a week and smells up the whole restaurant. And this one over here waved a knife at one of my waiters. What? I have nerve. You have nerve.
Take it easy,
All right,
man.
no.
Apologize to her, too.
No.
Just leave. Just leave. Just because you tell me to. Out. Samuel, this is why we can't go anywhere. This is why we can't go anywhere. Get out.
The people united to never be defeated. One, yeah.
Samuel.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did they call the police?
No.
I am
Samuel,
sorry.
Samuel, what I was going to say was that it was good of you to stick up for Ginny like that.
Hey, Jenny. I was gonna wait till later, but I got you something.
I don't want nothing, Jack. I just want to go home.
I don't even know how this got in here.
Oh, Jack.
I just realized I played the wrong video. So if this is the diner scene, sorry, TT and Reem, do you want to just explain what we just watched? My fault, my apologies.
That's all right. Yeah, so this is the scene where all Jack and the rest of the people who live with him in the mental health institution, they go out to dinner and a fight ensues.
Alors, ce segment démontre comment les étrangers associent les personnes qui ont des problèmes de santé mentale dans notre société. Et c'était la scène avec Jacques et toute la compagnie de la maison où il reste.
Okay, so with that being said, we'll pose a few questions. So I just kind of want to ask if anyone has any thoughts as to what contributed to the escalation of the situation.
Quelles sont les stratégies qui ont aidé à supporter les individus qui souffrent des issues avec leur santé mentale?
People thinking. Deborah, please.
Hey, hi.
It's Dwayne. One of the things that struck me is the completely dismissive attitude that we see often and every day, regardless of what city we're in Canada. The dismissiveness of people who are just expressing who they are. And that was well done in the video, but it's very common.
Thank you, Dwayne. Rima Titi, I think Deborah's hands up, please.
Yes, please go ahead, Deborah.
Okay. I was just going to say that I think the people that worked at the diner, you know, there's this sort of inherent fear of people who are different, and you might see them as being a little bit unpredictable. And I think I saw the fellow that was working at the diner just feeling very nervous and afraid. And the initial reaction is just to remove the problem, right? Instead of taking a step back and learning and, you know, kind of figuring it out or asking questions. So I got a sense of him being afraid and just wanting them out.
For sure. I see 2 other hands are up. Give me one moment. Yes, Vanessa.
Hi, can you hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So in answering your question, I think the situation was already primed to escalate. So thank you for what the 2 other folks, what they shared. I forget who just shared. I forget, I'm sorry, I can't see the name. But however, the person who last shared, I think I felt how I experienced the film. I saw some more of it being an inconvenience. You see, to accommodate and to serve them would require more patience, more compassion, more flexibility, more creativity. And that's something that it didn't seem the staff wanted to do, right? You know, they were annoying, the smelly. And so I think whatever, even if that gentleman, that great actor, I love that actor, didn't stand up for, or didn't speak out in terms of how he treated, I think it would have escalated anyhow. It was just I think the manager used that as excuse to do what he wanted to do anyway. Yeah, so those are my thoughts.
Thank you for sharing. Does anyone else have any thoughts or would like to add to what Vanessa said?
I have a thought. I know I talk a lot. I'm sorry. I'm trying to, not talk as much as I usually do. But one of the things I don't need to be spotlighted. Oh, but one of the things, and not only, one of the things that, and John and I were speaking, the sense of othering. There was this othering, creating this inferior image of those who are experiencing mental health concerns, right? And as much as, there's many of us who appreciate and want to do help, there's always that notion that, they're not normal and they're not like us and they don't belong. Even when they were finding that the moment of solidarity amongst the clients amongst themselves, eating the cake, you could see when people are walking by, they're looking at them like, they're staring at them like, what are you doing? That's not normal. What's so normal about eating cake on the side of the road, right? And I think, it's a good reflection for us to start unpacking, what does normal really mean? You know, what encourages us to be normal? You know, does it mean when you have a job and you're able to work a 9 to 5, does that mean normal? Or do we acknowledge that, you know what, someone's normal can be impacted based on how they're, you know, the mental health concerns that they're having, right? And do we now stigmatize them and say that they're not normal, right? So I think that's something that I really appreciate that scene. So I just want to acknowledge that, and maybe we can, you know, encourage more conversation around that. The sense of being othered, and what's this thing called normal? What is normal? I don't know. What do people think?
While everyone else thinks, I'll just add on to that. The scene with the cake for sure stood out. And my interpretation of that a little bit was that I feel like they were already so used to being seen as othered that like eating cake on the side of the street was kind of whatever. Like people were going to stare at them regardless, and so they were all kind of happy together and knew that they had each other. Okay, Kareem.
Hi, since it was just brought up, but because I wasn't going to bring it up, one of my problems with the field of mental health and psychiatry, psychology, and the rest of it is specifically the fact that they distort what it means to be normal. Like that's for me one of my biggest problems in the field in and of itself. And that's why I'm very sad when I see people adopt the concepts of mental health and they say, we need more mental health, we need more, like less stigma. And I feel like what they're doing is they're stigmatizing people further because they're inviting people to be labeled. You know, like when I see people, I don't really care what, you know, like how they behave in a certain way. But I feel like the field in and of itself stigmatizes people by default. It just takes a nicer way of saying it. So instead of me saying someone is crazy, I'll just say they're schizophrenic. Or instead of saying they're weird, I'll say, well, they're bipolar, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm very saddened when I see this whole thing, because I feel like people are further stigmatized. And the more people are trying to say like, we need to fight the stigma and we need to invite more mental health. And even when I see in my own personal life, the more I see people being oppressed and marginalized. And just like in the first scene that we saw in the movie in the group, where somebody's life had to be under the oppression of somebody else's, like somebody had to decide. I decide if you can live on your own or not. I decide if you're okay or not. I decide if you're normal or not. So that's something I feel like tends to be overlooked. And sorry if this was a bit weird interjection.
No, not at all. Thank you for saying that. Okay, I think we can move on to the next question, the next clip, and talk about the next questions. But for sure, I'm sure that'll come up later in the clips that we do show. So I'll give a brief description of the next clip.
I'll go back to the clip 1, sorry. Yeah, I'll go back.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so this scene is focused on Jack Hall, the main character, and he is discussing his mental health issues with his son in this scene.
Ce segment du film centré sur Jacques, le personnage principal. Il démontre la vulnérabilité avec son fils quand il discute ses concerns avec son santé mentale dans le passé.
You can't just show up like this.
I just wanted to talk for a minute.
I can't talk now. I gotta get him to camp.
But not you.
No, we gotta go.
But he asked me.
About what?
About what happened before.
No. No.
When someone is sick, as sick as I was, sometimes you do things you don't know you're doing. Or you forget. And I forgot a lot of things. And when you were 5, it's kind of when everything changed for us. We went to the zoo.
What would make you think this was a good idea?
I thought that...
You thought? So, all of a sudden you just decide to show up here and we're just supposed to stand here and listen to Just forget I asked. It's not right, Jack. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's not helpful. Now let's go. Two minutes.
Maybe your mom's
At the
right.
zoo when I was 5.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, we had a great day. It closed, and we left, and we got on the bus to go home, and everything was good. Really good. And then I got up, and I left you.
Where?
On the bus. John, I left you on the bus.
You forgot me?
No. I did it on purpose.
I don't understand.
I had a reason. You were so much fun and so happy. And I loved you so much. And I thought in my head, that I wanted everybody to know that feeling.
I was 5.
But the bus driver took you, and your mom, she picked you up. So everything ended up, okay.
But something like that won't happen again, right? Because you're better.
I am better. Much, much better. What?
I think you're telling me this now to give yourself a way out, to make it seem like you're really bad, like you're not ready. Because maybe all of this about getting your own apartment isn't really gonna happen.
No, it's gonna happen, John. Man, I'm being straight with you.
I have to go.
John, it's gonna happen. And you can come over, I'll give you a key, and you can come over whenever you're done.
You told me.
Okay, I'll just ask, does anyone have any general thoughts about the scene before I get into the specific questions? I think I see one hand up. Yeah, Black Student Alliance.
Hi, yeah, it's Adam. So I think similar to with that last scene with the cake in the restaurant, I think the son was demonstrating a bit of internalized stigma against his dad for having a mental illness. Just, I mean, it could be subjective, but just in sort of his tone when he was right before he stormed off to the car, I think it's kind of, you wouldn't have heard him talk to a parent like that if his parent wasn't mentally ill like Jack. So yeah, I just wanted to point out, I think this stigma is pretty deeply ingrained.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really interesting point. I didn't consider that, like the respect aspect, like a parent, the type of respect a parent expects from their child and vice versa. So thank you for sharing. And then I'll move on to Vanessa.
Hi. Okay, sorry. There's no echo now, right? You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
I know what
as well, but
You're cutting.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that. I appreciate the comment of the last person. I also just have some thoughts. I'm not quite sure how I think about it, but it'd be interesting to see more opinions on where does responsibility also lie with regards to those who have mental health issues, you know, and impact that they have on the lives of their loved ones in the community. Because I was just thinking about how traumatic that was for the son, for even though he might not consciously remember in his mind, but in his body, how that must have felt to be left, you know, to be left by his parent, how scary that must have been. And so, yeah, so I just was, you know, hopefully I hear some more thoughts and about what people think about that role of, you know, responsibility, but also suffering from illness.
Yes, for sure. And I think a couple people actually do want to comment about that. So, Zamina?
Hi, good evening. It's Zamani.
Zamani.
So I actually found this clip kind of a little bit triggering for myself personally, but what I was thinking about mostly was actually the modeling of the behavior. So I come from the Caribbean, and you know, when people, when children do things that seem out of character to, you know, to what we know of them and who they are, my elders and everybody would say children don't just come so. They don't just start out like that. So the behavior that the young person, that the son was using towards his father, I think he was modeling the same behavior that, and the same sentiments that was coming from his mother. And for whatever reason, you know, I mean, yes, he's 5 years old, he was left on a bus, but he didn't actually talk about his feelings in that clip. So I can't say, I don't know how he felt, because when you're 5, you just think the world is a certain kind of way. So you don't really, I'm not sure, like, I don't want to put, you know, any words into that sort of character's mouth in a sense, but I definitely saw the behavior that he was modeling was that of his mother, right? Who also probably has some unconscious, I mean, granted, I'm a mother, she is a mother and all that, but there's still, when you center the human being and separate them from the actions, then you see the person quite differently. And so I'm saying that speaking very intimately about my current situation. And, you know, right now, you know, my son has a very, very powerful view of his father. It's very positive and all that kind of stuff, but that's primarily because we don't do shaming in here, even though there are some things that that I went through with his father that, you know, maybe later on he'll know about. But I decided that modeling a behavior of loving care and kindness, no matter what, and you find out who your father is later on, if that is what is supposed to come from that relationship, then let that be that. But I saw that young person, I saw the boy doing a lot of modeling, and I think that for me was what was important.
Thank you for sharing for your perspective. Okay, I'll move on to the next. Matilda, if you'd like to share.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you there. So one of the things that I found in watching this clip was this young boy trying to understand as best he could at the age that he is at, try to understand what his dad was trying to explain to him. And one of the things that I took away was his mom came to take him to say, let's go, let's go. And he stood his ground and he wanted to hear. And so I think in explaining mental health is not, somebody earlier had said, It needs to be quote unquote normalized. Like any other disease or illness that anybody has, whether it's alcoholism or drug abuse, anything like that, so that it's easy for people to be able to explain that it is an illness. And it is just that simple. And I think in having this father trying to explain to his son what took place, that it wasn't on purpose, that, I mean, parents often you'll see in shopping malls, the child will be so much further ahead of them. And then they'll turn around, that child will be gone, or the parent will turn around and the child will be gone. It happens. But I think this little boy really was trying to understand who his dad was at that moment, who he's trying to be now, and potentially, is it going to get better? So I think parents have to, those with mental illnesses, whatever it may be, it needs to be explained. It needs to be quote unquote normalized. And for me, in watching this clip, I found that child was really just trying to understand as best he could in that moment, based on what his dad was trying to explain. And I mean, it was clear his dad, from my perspective, was having a difficult time explaining to him what was going on in his head. So, I mean, that's my 2 cents. And so I don't necessarily feel that he was going too far. I think it was clear the child got frustrated, but I think he was doing his best to try and understand, or else he would have went with his mother the first time. And I think we have to give kids the benefit of the doubt. They understand more than, parents or adults give them credit. And I think there needs to be more of that conversation being had in, child appropriate ways, because consistency is key with kids. And I work in part in the child welfare system, so I see this a lot, and they just need that consistency. They really need to understand why things are happening when they're happening, again, in age appropriate ways. And it is incumbent on the person who has a mental illness to be able to explain, so that child doesn't feel lost and then starts to question and start to spiral out of control.
Thank you so much for sharing that perspective. And with that, I think we can move on to the next clip, and I'll briefly explain what we're going to watch. Okay, just one comment in the chat, I'll just check out. Okay, so yeah, Vanessa just left another comment if anyone wants to check it out, about her perspective of what Jack meant when he left his son on the bus. And yeah, so this next clip is with Jack and his roommate, and here they discuss the difference between a house and a home.
Alors, dans cette scène, Jack et Hamilton sont colocataires, discutent à partir de leur maison et de transition dans le film. Et ils discutent la différence entre une maison versus et votre maison.
What's up, Jack?
You ever think about when you might leave?
Yeah, he tried to get me out of here a while back, but nah. I think I need to stay here a while longer, soak up some more of this wonderfully therapeutic environment.
Sometimes when it's just me and you, it doesn't seem like you're so bad. It actually almost seems like you're trying to be.
What the hell you know about me, Jack? I'm one crazy bastard, man. Boogity, boogity. You know what? You're just as crazy as I am, Jack. I mean, come on. You the one giving her 3 squares and a nice warm bed, friends, company, a roof over your head.
And that's all it should be? That's what I'm supposed to want?
What else is there? Oh, right, your own place. That's so great. That's terrific. Congratulations. But now you got to deal with the shopping and the chores and the rent and the bills and the government people trying to give you less now, trying to make you work now because you all able. You're not so crazy now. And of course, there's the people living next door to you that don't know you, that don't stop them from staring at you, talking about you, telling their kids to watch out for you when you're just out for a little walk.
It's not gonna be like that.
And that's good, Jack. I'm glad it's all gonna go your way. So then to answer your question, nah. I don't spend time thinking about when I might want to leave. Could be nicer around here, sure. Food could be better. Women could be hotter. But even with all that, nah. Because when I look around, all I see is a happy home. A crazy, happy home.
Okay, yeah. So Hamilton is I just want to say I love Hamilton as a character. He brings a lot of like comedic elements to the film. And so he poses the question, and that I'll ask everyone here as well. What's the difference between a house and a home?
Et on pensait, dans quelle manière est-ce qu'une maison est différente de votre maison?
Is it okay if I jump in?
Yeah, of course.
I think for me personally, the difference between a house and a home is kind of like that feeling of comfort, and not only comfort, but also safety. And maybe like the feeling I get from that clip is that safety is kind of a question, and maybe that's sometimes why it feels like a struggle to kind of feel the difference between a house and a home. So yeah, for me, the key word is that feeling of safety.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting point. And I think Hamilton, he talks about that, and he kind of weighs the pros and cons, and just him and Jack see it from different perspectives. And next I'll go to, sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but
Ranisha.
Risha?
Ranisha.
Ranisha.
Ranisha, how you doing, sis? You know, I had to watch this movie a couple times. The first time I watched it and just kind of, just absorbed it. And the second time, I noticed a lot of other things, how you always see more in the film. Every time you watch it, you'll see something new. And so that idea of home, really, I had to sit with that for a minute. The distinction between a house and a home. A house, of course, is just a physical location. And yes, I do agree with the Luther Vandross idea that your home is your sanctuary. At least for me, it is. When I walk into my sanctuary every day, the world is all right because I create what happens in my home. At least I may be in a different situation than some people. I live by myself. So what happens in my home is created by me. What energy I bring into this space. I even have a sign, like when you walk in, that says you are responsible for the energy you bring into the space. But when you're just in a particular place where you just lay your head every night, that may not be necessarily a safe space. It may not be a place that you can feel like you're truly allowed to be in your full authenticity. No veils, no pretentiousness, no need to wear the mask, if you will. And so for that situation with this particular film, I know we haven't seen the whole film in this moment, but and I won't spoil the end for anyone who hasn't seen all of it just yet. But the idea of him getting his home, his own place to be in, was more than just having his own physical space, but that mental space, even, you know, even like in the when he's dreaming and he's having these ideas about him trying to run and escape and never really feeling like he had anything of his own, like really trying to take control of his life back. And so in your sanctuary, in your home, you can control the energy, the space. So that's, I'll stop there because there's all kinds of ideas running through my head right now. But the idea that you literally have, as someone said in the chat, you know, that freedom, that sense of control, and literally create your own sanctuary, your own, yeah, you can let your walls down in your sanctuary.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to ask the next question. Thank you again for sharing, Renisha. So the next question is, how can home include people who are not your family? And comment est-ce qu'une maison peut contenir des personnes qui ne sont pas votre famille?
I'm gonna go. Can't take silence. Here we go. And I promise I won't dominate, but I definitely, you know, moving the amount of times I've moved in life, you know, and I remember when I moved to Ottawa, it was a very, you know, scary moment. So I'm gonna be vulnerable with people. I share that, Warren. Although I may look tough, I do get scared at times. Yeah, no, I'm not tough. You know, moving out there, I remember not, you know, taking a chance, you know, going to grad school, not knowing anyone. And, you know, I was able to, you know, rent a, oh, am I being spotlighted? You know, I was able to, you know, successfully, you know, rent a spot, which was, you know, was decent, but it was just a house. You know, I just felt like I was going to a house to lay down and watch TV, do homework, and, you know, do all those things in grad school. But what really made the moment, especially in the last couple of years living in Ottawa, was the people that I met. And although we didn't live in the same dwelling, you know, meeting with them for lunch or, you know, just talking to them on the phone, it felt like I was being part of their, you know, this home vibe with them, right? I shared a moment with them, laughter. So, you know, for me, when I think about this concept of home in a house, you know, a home can be what you make it. You know what I mean? It's definitely, you know, who's in your circle, who you can be, you know, vulnerable with, and, you know, who you can, you know, share a balanced sense of reciprocity. That's one of my favorite words, reciprocity, you know, and I think it's those foundational tools and positivity and bringing a sense of, you know, positive energy to someone where you appreciate their humanness and not what not what the political assertion that make up their humanness is important in the foundational tools that, you know, make up that home. So I wanted to share that with folks because, you know, when I listen to this, you know, when I watched the movie, I know, and Renisha, respectfully, you mentioned that you never watched the movie. I trust you will. You know, the roommate's name, the roommate that was speaking to Jack. You know, there's moments where, you know, you know, you kind of question or think about, okay, what kind of, and it's not me being judgy, but you think through, okay, what's his concern here? Why is he here? And I really understood that in that moment, you know, what he is trying to achieve, and he's trying to achieve that home feeling, and he's not coming with a judgy. He's like, listen, like, you make me feel good. And this is why I want to be here. So I want to actually throw that in there. So thank you for letting me do that. Thanks.
Thank you for sharing. Does anyone else have anything that they'd like to add?
I'll add something. So I was just, as Warren was speaking, I was just thinking about who I consider like part of my home. And I'm first generation immigrant, so my parents immigrated here from Sudan. And unfortunately, I don't have any like biological relatives. I don't have any cousins or aunts or uncles. But we do have a Sudanese community, so other Sudanese people who we can rely on, who I consider family. And a lot of times, like in my culture, other culture, you know, call people auntie, but here, like, they really do feel like my aunts. I know I can rely on them at any time, and they're always welcome at our house, and vice versa. So that's just my perspective on it as well. Okay, with that, yeah, let's see if any, yeah, diasporic families are real, for sure. And it's really nice to have. And as well, you can always comment throughout, maybe even give your reaction. So awesome. Okay, so we'll move on to the next segment.
T. Joseph, hand is raised. Just sorry, FYI.
Okay, go ahead, Joseph.
Hi, good evening. When I was watching the clip, it just reminded me when I used to work in residential treatment facilities and in jails or prisons, and going there every day when you would go on the units, the people there, I'm not going to call them inmates, the people there did develop their own sense of home despite being incarcerated. And a lot of times what you find is because they were so comfortable being there, like a week or two before their release, they would do something to violate so they would stay longer. So when I was hearing the character talk about like, you know, oh, you're gonna give up, you know, the 3 square meals and this and that, it just made me think of a lot of the people who are incarcerated who feel that way. And it made me think of the character, like what disappointments did he encounter when he was out in the quote unquote real world that now this place is home. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, that's a really great take.
Yeah, I totally agree. Alrighty, so yes, so the next clip, I believe this is the one about the medical file. Warren, just checking in.
Yeah, this is the medical file.
Okay, so Jack, the description of this clip is that Jack remembers his mental health episode in a community church where he encountered police. So this is that segment.
Jacques se souvient d'un mauvais épisode avec son santé mentale dans une église où il rencontre la police.
I just want to acknowledge that this scene is could be triggering, so I just want to acknowledge that. So please, just want to, if you need to step away at any time, please know that you please take care of your needs. Thank you.
What? No, stop! Stop! They're gonna shoot you! Whoa, sir!
Do you know where you are right now? You're in the hospital. Do you remember anything from yesterday?
Okay, so the first question is, in what ways can police support Jack to seek help to address his mental health concerns without him being criminalized?
Dans quelle manière est-ce que la police peut supporter Jacques pour aider son santé mentale sans lui criminaliser?
So someone put in the chat the importance of getting professional on the scene, not police. So I believe earlier we talked about having mental health experts be there to help out those who might be going through like a mental health crisis. So that's definitely an important point.
I think Samani mentioned the same thing, that the police shouldn't, I don't think that the police should be involved in the initial stages. I definitely agree, because I don't think that police are necessarily trained to have that type of sensitivity in situations like that. And they just kind of responded to his aggression with more aggression, which obviously isn't the best way to calm someone down who's having an episode like that. So I think those are really good points.
Yeah, I totally agree as well. Any other thoughts as well? I know recently there have been some events where, and the event that Warren was talking about earlier, with that Black man who was having a mental health crisis and police just escalated the situation.
Yeah, I can just talk about that briefly. So in Ottawa, I think it was 2016, Abdirahman Abdi was shot and killed, or sorry, was killed, not shot, sorry, my apologies, not shot, was killed by the Ottawa police. Abdirahman Abdi suffered from mental health. And, you know, one of the things that, you know, what was concerning about that, I was just about to bring up the clip, that's why my hands were here, but I stopped to respect what I'm speaking about. You know, one thing that was spoken about during that time was, and still is how do we, you know, ensure that there's the right people on scene to help folks with mental health concerns, right? It was a very disturbing image. It was captured on video where he was, you know, abused violently. I would go as far as saying that, and that ended up succumbing to the attacks by police. Even though there was multiple police there, it was very uncomfortable to watch and know that the police, who are supposed to serve and protect, would go as far and kill Abdirahman Abdi. You know, one of the things that, you know, I look at this clip, you know, and this has been a main theme, particularly, you know, after the death of George Floyd, and even before that. But I'll stay the course with speaking about George Floyd respectfully. There was a lot of talk, particularly in the Black communities. How do we have conversations with our youth? How do we have conversations, particularly with young Black men, in terms of, you know, supporting and appreciating and loving and acknowledging that, you know, there is this, you know, constant structural violence against Black youth, particularly young Black men. When you see the choking, the shooting, the constant and absolute, you know, and Jono was speaking about that respectfully in a moment. You know, when he was, you know, speaking with me, this is a concern that continues and it's been normalized, right? There's nothing normal about killing somebody. There's nothing normal about killing someone, you know, regardless of, you know, who they are, you know, who have, or killing them if they have mental health concerns. You know, I think, you know, watching this clip, as much as it is a uncomfortable clip to watch, it's a necessary clip to watch. And I don't say that to, you know, make anybody feel uncomfortable. We need to sit with these moments to understand how we can work through these moments and how we can add supports to people who need these supports to work with folk. And I'm just so humbled to be able to even have these conversations with folk. So that's what I'll start and stop by saying. I know there's a lot of comments coming our way. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Warren. And I believe Maya, I just remembered this. Moshari Madut, who was South Sudanese, was shot by Winnipeg police in February of 2019. And so definitely something that happens here in Winnipeg and is still definitely relevant. And something else that Ranisha brought up was that many teachers and students were put in vulnerable positions due to lack of training for such scenarios. Yes, de-escalation for sure is something that a lot of people should know, because like the earlier scene we watched in the diner, if the waiter or I believe just the staff knew how to de-escalate a situation, stuff like that would not happen. So yeah, those are all really, really good points. Okay, and with that. Okay, wait, yeah, Vanessa, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Are you showing another clip? Are you showing another clip?
No, not yet. I'm just
No.
giving people.
Okay, so I just wanted to, if you allow me, if no one else wants to speak, I don't want to take up too much space. I just wanted to fold into the conversation something mentioned in the beginning about anti-Blackness. You know, so regardless of mental health status, in my experience and what I know, Black people, including women, are deemed as threats, no matter what, deemed as threatening, more aggressive, bigger than what they actually are. So, so I mean, it's addressing the systematic racism that thrives in the in many aspects of a society is what we need to get to, because so whether or not he was exhibiting mental health, we are seen as threats, something that could hurt us, overpower me, and just as was said about George Floyd, that the characterization of him for the justification of that officer to kill him was that he seemed you had some other godly strength. That was his kind of words or interpretation. I'm paraphrasing, but any case, so yes, I wanted to offer that.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for offering that, and I totally agree. Okay, so with that being said, we'll have the next clip queued up. So this segment, we get the perspective a little bit from Laura, the mother of Jack's son, and we see the frustration displayed by her.
That stunt could have got you in a lot of trouble.
More than fast in a diner?
Paulie's gonna kill me. It was pretty good.
Jack! Not even gonna ask why I'd never heard anything about this.
I was gonna call you.
From him and Myron, right?
Well, it's a straight shot on the 4 right to my new place.
Your new place? You should have gotten 3.
They were expensive.
I didn't tell you to buy them. I gotta go to work.
He doesn't like them?
That's not the point, Jack. They're really okay with this? I mean, everyone is really okay with you finding your own place, spending on apartments and ball games and whatever else? But we've been here before, right? The feeling better, the wanting to be a good dad, telling people what you think they want to hear instead of the truth.
That's not right.
We've known each other forever. I know you. Maybe better than anyone, and I know you mean well. But you're sick with something that will never go completely away. We gotta be realistic about that.
Realistic?
Yeah.
I can live a normal life. I've recovered. I'm better.
Are you really? Because you need to know if all this should suddenly fall apart the way it has in the past, if the job should disappear, if the apartment goes away, if you go away.
I'm not going anywhere. He needs me. As his father.
As his father, you need to do what's right for him. You're not dragging us down with you again. You're not doing that to our son.
No, I won't.
I know you won't. Because I won't let you. No way in hell.
Yeah, what about these?
You should have gotten 3.
Okay, so first question is, in what ways should we consider how Laura is being protective of her child and not attempting to display the angry Black woman trope?
Dans quelle manière est-ce qu'on devrait considérer comment Laura agit d'être protective de son fils sans employer le stéréotype d'une femme noire en colère?
If you don't mind me putting you on the spot, Vanessa, I know you touched a little bit about Black women and their perspective in this. Yeah, I can put that question in the chat.
Sorry, you did. I was just about to type something in the chat because I didn't want to take up too much space. So you did put me on the spot. I wanted to, but thank you though, Reem. I just want to say quickly and just let someone else share. I also have some thoughts on, I think, what's a successful development plan, or I don't know, or yeah, well, I don't know if the word is development for those who are experiencing mental health issues, and do they involve their families? You know, I was thinking that just how there's Alcoholics Anonymous and then there's Al-Anon, I believe, please correct me, you know, I feel that where is that support for them, right? And I feel like it needs to be more holistic, or taking care of not only the person who's, you know, suffering and but the family that they had or have, and also the what does success look like? What does someone's struggle look like, so that people are aware that with this disease there's going to be times where things fail. Do you understand? So yeah, so like, I don't know if in the way I see that character as, I don't see if she, first of all, that angry Black woman is a trick anyhow to silence Black women and to invalidate their feelings. So I haven't been in her shoes. I don't think her feelings should be, I think there needs to be some passion also given to her as well. I don't know what that journey was like. And I feel like, so I push back against this, you know, characterization of her as unfeeling or unsupportive. So I hope you understand what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I totally understand. And I know, Natalie, you put as well, she's still a woman, she's still a mother first, not just a Black mother. And I totally agree. Anyone else have any thoughts?
I liked what Renesha pointed out in the chat. She said, I don't think any Black woman ever intentionally attempts to portray the angry Black woman stereotype, which I think is a great point. It's just kind of like Vanessa just mentioned, it's something that's just used as a tactic to silence people. So I really think that's a great point.
Can we challenge that stereotype? Can we challenge that stereotype? I think we can in this instance. Because I think, if I can be very frank with folk, you know, I think when we, you know, I'm just gonna just pop this book because I'm using it for one of my classes. And no, I'm not marketing it. I do not work for the publisher. So, but yes, that's what I'm talking about. Pedagogy of the Oppressed. If you don't have it, please get your hands on it. I will encourage you to think through anti-oppression. It's that's the one of my go-tos. But you know, the author in that book, he talks about, you know, being anti-oppressive, and sometimes when we think we're being anti-oppressive, we're actually being oppressive, right? And you know, I think this is a moment where, yes, it can be viewed that Laura, the mother of Jack's son, is being the oppressor, but you know, it's very easy to forget what the person who's being thought of as oppressive, that they're a human that's experienced trauma, right? And it's very easy then to typecast this person as the angry Black woman in this situation. But are we doing more, and are we being purposeful in critically engaging why she is expressing the way she is? I think it's important we challenge that stereotype, just much like I would challenge the angry Black man or the thug or whatever stereotype we would put on Black men or Black women. So can we do that? That's the question. Can we, or should we do it? I'm gonna leave it right there.
I think we can definitely challenge it. And I think people raised some good points in the chat. So Ranisha was saying that she's being protected within reason. There are scenes, and yeah, this is later in the film, but there are scenes describing disturbing scenarios where Jack stuffed magazines under the couch and lit them on fire. And another point was that she's putting her mental health first by saying, we aren't going to let you do that. And yeah, like Warren was saying, that she's also experienced trauma because that, of course, is her son. And she probably did not understand like what was going on and everything. And it must have been hard for her to cope as well. Okay, Deborah.
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of touch on what Warren had mentioned too about the whole trauma piece. And I think that's one of the biggest differences I've noticed with families that live with somebody who has some kind of physical illness versus, a mental health issue, is that mental health issues bring with it a lot of hurt and disappointment to those around them. And I think, the character in the movie, I think a lot of us could probably put ourselves in her shoes to varying degrees and feel like we can understand why she is angry. She's hurt, she's disappointed, and she doesn't want her child to keep going through this cycle of being continuously disappointed. So, I think I could really associate with her, although I'm exceptionally empathetic to where Jack is. He's wanting to do better, but there's no guarantee he will be able to do better. And sometimes with certain people and certain mental illnesses, it's like, when they're good, they're really good, and then they fall off, and then it's that up and down that people find really, really hard to kind of keep up with. So anyhow, there's certainly a lot of moments in the film that, I just feel very sad a lot of the time because it's everybody's hurting, Anyhow, those were just my thoughts. Thank you.
Yeah, accurate description though. Everybody is hurting, especially in this film. Like Jack's son and his mother, and they're all going through it in their own separate ways. And just there's a lot of comments, which is good. Yeah, so some people saying they don't really see her as the angry Black woman at all, get her perspective. Okay, so there's a mental health toolkit and for Black Canadians, and it dawned on them how little we Black families and communities know about mental health. That's definitely true. Sometimes our own actions or inactions are due to ignorance. Yeah, I totally agree with this conversation we're having. And so I think from what I understand, everyone is empathetic to what she's going through, and we don't really see her as that stereotype. And Deborah, I'm not sure if you still have your hand up from previous, or if you wanted to comment and chime in.
That's an old hand. Thank you.
There was one last comment here saying not allowing Black women to be angry erodes their humanity. Must they always please, smile, and be palatable? And what are the implications of such expectations? I feel like I definitely agree with that point. I could definitely see that, like, people potentially not siding with Laura if they didn't really understand like her full perspective, because the way the film is set, like Jack is the main character, so we kind of sympathize with him and we're rooting for him to get better. But people just it'd be wrong for us to expect Laura to just sit there and, also cater to Jack while she has a son to protect. So I think that's a really good point.
Mm-hmm. And and someone mentioned also she is pregnant at the time as well. How does it prevent help seeking? I think it's a question for someone else, but yeah, those are all really, really good points. And I think just so we have a little bit of time for the rest of the clips, we'll move on.
And then what we'll do is, just so you know, yes, Paulo Freire is the author, yes, of Pedagogy Press, but we do have 24 minutes, yeah, and then if we have more time to talk a little bit more, maybe 10 minutes after, then we'll do so. But we're going to play the last clip. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll just quickly describe this clip. So in this segment, there's tension between Jack and his mental health clinician, Dr. Parker.
Dans ce portion du film, il y a des tensions entre Jacques et le docteur Parker.
That's why we just cleared everybody. The station's closed. I mean, it's closed.
Excuse me, can I just go in real quick to get the train?
Station is closed.
So I got the letter today. I got the results back from my driver's test. And maybe I should have gone with someone.
Something, I had to take care of something, which I did. And then the trains weren't running.
I wasn't supposed to hit the curb, and he was judging me. He was writing things down.
Just give him some time, okay?
No.
And then we can talk.
No, I don't have time, no.
But I got it.
Boy, yeah, boy. Got you, man. You're a good actor, yo.
Congratulations, Thomas. Thanks, Jack.
All right, everybody. Thank you. Let's move on. Who'd like to speak next? Even though I know Thomas is a tough act to follow today.
Dr. Parker?
You can have a seat, Jack.
I know I'm late. I'm sorry. Something came up, and I had to take care of it.
Okay. We can talk about that later.
After group?
I have to leave right after group. I'm here again Friday after next.
Dr. Parker.
The irony of this is that Nurse Crawford did a terrific job putting everything together. The meeting wouldn't have taken long at all. I really only had a couple of questions, but you missed your time.
If it's not going to take a long time, maybe we could start after group.
Well, I said I'm leaving right after. And yes, I do think group is an important part of recovery. You asked me that once, which is why I'm not going to take another moment away from it just because you're ready to talk now after getting here almost an hour late, Jack. You missed your time. Now it's their time. And that's that. All right. Who wants to go next? Anyone? Melissa? Jenny, I know you wanted to speak earlier. Sherman?
No.
Who's Samuel? Charles. Max. Max.
Doctor.
Leo.
Jack's hands up.
So it is.
I know I don't usually talk much in group. And of course, I don't know what you're gonna ask during our meeting. So I guess...
Jack, you don't have to do this now. You can do this properly later.
No. I have to do it now. You know, the other day, Samuel was talking about getting out of here. And working hard has a lot to do with it. Yeah, you know, making good choices. But luck does too. You know, not to be so sick to begin with. To have people around you who want to help. And lately, when I dream that dream that I always dream about having a key to my own front door, and my son coming over to stay, friends visiting, a girlfriend, maybe. It doesn't seem so impossible anymore. My son is 12, Dr. Parker. You never met him, but he's great. And the other day, he asked me about what happened before. The bad stuff, and if that could happen again. I couldn't promise him that it wouldn't. Because if there's one thing we've all learned here, is that they're gonna be rough days. But what I should have said, what I can promise is that even on those rough days, I am going to live my life the best way I know how. Staying clean, working hard to be the best friend, the best father that I can be to him or to anyone, no matter what they ask of me. Because, I mean, now I don't know how not to be. So if you don't sign me out, I'll just keep trying. No, I'm going to try harder. More. I'm going to try more.
Is that it? So who would like to speak next?
So, he just left.
I didn't know what to say. I didn't do good.
It was a tough position to be in.
I should have said something else.
What's that?
Thank you. To you.
No one ever does.
Thank you. I'm not gonna give up. I'll just try harder, and I'll try more, and I'll make sure.
There's no reason to, Jack. He's letting you go. He signed you out. Okay.
He just reacted to the comments so far. Yeah, strength in numbers, so they definitely riled around him. And yeah, my favorite moment was when I forget which character, but put his hand up and said, "Oh, I have something to say." Jack has his hand up, so they definitely riled and stood by him. And I'll pose the first question. So obviously the big conflict of the scene is that Jack was late to his appointment, and because he doesn't have a lot of money and is low income, he's using, well, not necessarily because of that, but he is late for his appointment and he didn't have another mode of transportation. He was going to take the subway, but then he had to take the bus, and so that's what delayed him. So the question is, does social class create barriers between Jack and Dr. Parker?
Comment est-ce que notre classe sociale peut créer des obstacles comme dans la situation avec Jacques et Dr. Parker?
Deborah, go ahead.
I think somebody else had posted it as well, but definitely that whole class and the ego, the doctor-patient relationship where the doctor is just always going to be right and the patient is always going to be the one needing guidance and not being able to stand on their own 2 feet. So I think that was the role that psychiatrist was playing there, very in charge, not being very respectful or sensitive or thoughtful or a lot of other things. So yeah, definitely a bit of a class difference there.
I totally agree. And I believe someone put as well, it took Jack more work to get there than the doctor, and that's definitely something that the doctor did not consider. And I think we'll do one last question, not a question, but one last response. So Devin, you like to go ahead?
The one big thing that I noticed in this situation in particular is when you're looking at the social determinants of health, you're looking at what separates people who have, a higher income status from those with a lower income status. Because if the main character had, better income, he wouldn't be in the position in the first place that allowed him a lack of access to mental health care, right? So I guess we just have to really consider that, the biomedical model of health only takes us so far, and that the social model is very relevant in this film and, a lot more in the world than we consider.
I totally agree, and that's an excellent point. And I was thinking about that as well. So, okay, thank you everyone for contributing. I believe Warren we will move on to talking about the giveaway.
Yeah, I will take it from there.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you very much. So round of applause to TT and Reem for moderating. Look at that. Right? Please, we gotta pay it forward to our younger generation. And I'm very honored and humbled to work with you on this event. So thank you very much appreciated. So there's Warren. All right, so we are going to close the evening. We do have some giveaways this evening. We've got some spa certificates, I hear. Is this true? Yeah, it's true, Warren. I heard it too. Yeah, somebody back there was saying that. But anyways, and then we have some gift certificates to do maybe some grocery shopping. We want to ensure that whatever we can do to help our community, even if it's the little bit of money we can offer and through incentives, we're going to do so. So something we've done through the ACMP for many years now. So I'm very humbled to continue doing that. And then really quickly, we're going to talk about the last 2 events of our campaign addressing mental health concerns in our Black community, our African descent community. We have some really good speakers coming up, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. So without further ado, we have Peter Holder, one of the coordinators from ACMP, who's going to help us out. And also, got to big up to Peter because he organized this entire month. So round of applause to Peter. We got to give it up to Peter. We're talking about, And we can't forget the other coordinators, Janice and Sarah. Thank you very much for the work you do. But we want to also acknowledge everyone in Maya. We can't forget Maya. And also, but last but not least, Adele. This Without Adele, you folks would not be here. I'll tell you that right now. So Adele, thank you very much for what you do. And without further ado, Peter, please.
That was awesome. Thank you, Warren. And thanks again to everyone for showing up tonight. It really means a lot to us when we see everyone supporting the work that we're trying to do. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and share my screen and get this wheel spinning.
This is for the
All right. So this is for the spa prize package giveaway. We're going to go ahead and click in 3, 2, 1.
Ooh, who's this gonna?
Congratulations, Crystal.
Crystal, are you there?
Crystal.
Are you there, Crystal?
We
If
have
you're
a
not there,
Crystal.
you don't go to the spa, and you get to go to the spa with somebody. You get to go to Crystal. You're not there? Oh man! Oh
Do you have a
darn!
Crystal?
Going once,
Huh?
going twice. Peter, what do you think? It's your call. I don't know. I don't think they're here. I'm just saying.
No?
No?
Okay.
I don't
Let's
think
go
so.
ahead and spin again.
Let's spin it again.
Right, great.
I swear, it's like my favorite moment of the event. Just give away gifts. I love this moment. You gotta stay. If you just come in for like 15 minutes and leave, that's not making it either. Anyway.
Ooh.
Kareem, is that you? Kareem, are you there?
Do we have a Kareem?
I see your name. Say something, Kareem.
Type
Kareem,
something in the chat. Let us know you're here.
please.
Kareem. Calling Kareem.
Kareem? Going once?
Going once. Going twice.
All right. Moving on.
All
Next,
right.
you gotta spin one more time. You gotta
Keep it
say
rolling,
something.
keep it rolling.
This is a hot ticket. It's a hot ticket. You're at the spa. You don't go to the spa? I get it. COVID, I get it. But with safety first. Safety first. Oh,
Whoa.
okay. Did I say that
Funko.
correctly? Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey.
You're going to the spa. You're going to
Oh, well.
You're
All
gonna
right,
get a
congratulations.
spa treatment.
That's weird. That's crazy.
All right, so you need to email me. All right, email me to collect your prize. I'm gonna put my name in there. Or where are you? Okay, where are you? Where are you? I just saw your name. I'm gonna email you. I'm gonna send you my email in the chat right now to you only.
Okay.
And please email. So Peter, we got one more or 3 more.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you.
You want me to keep spinning there, Warren? Hold on. Sorry. Let me get this back up. All right. Next spin. Here we go.
Devin, are you there?
Devon.
I am here.
Ah!
Hey.
You're going to the spa. Get that spa treatment. All right.
Very nice.
Devin, same thing. We'll send you my email. Please send me an email saying you are the winner. Say winner in your title. That's all I need. And then we're going to give you instructions on how to claim your 2 prizes. So those are our 2 top prizes. We got 2 gift certificates to give away. So 2 more gifts, 2 more prizes.
Gonna keep spinning here, guys. 2 more. Oh, front desk.
Front desk. Who's that?
Is anybody logged in on a computer called front desk?
Who's that? Anybody?
Yes.
Front. Sorry. What's your name?
Yeah,
Front.
Chooks.
Chooks. Chooks. You won.
Call me. All right.
All right. So I'm sending you my email. All right.
Okay.
Front desk, which is not
All right.
front desk, it's Chooks. So please email me. And you are the winner of one of the gift certificates, $50. Good job for you.
Congratulations.
All right. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. All right. And last one.
All right. Last one. Let's make this one count.
Make it count. Let's go.
Yeah.
Woo!
Nice.
Vanessa, are you there? I think she
I'm
just
there.
logged off. Are you still there?
Yeah, can you see me? Hey.
$50 come visit, $50 coming your way. I know you're in the States, but we're still gonna get it to you. Congratulations.
That's what's up. Hey, that's what's up. Thank you.
What happens when you come to an ACMP event? You win. You see that?
Awesome.
There you go. All right. So we've got one more thing to say, and then we're gonna let you go. So we have 2 more events. One coming up on the 26th, and the other one, the last one, on the 31st. And that will close us out for the month, but doesn't mean you stop the conversations. So please visit acmp.com. Adele, can you help us out, find out that the website there, or show us the website, please? Are they posted on Eventbrite? Yes, they're on Eventbrite. Please check it out. Can we share the screen to weareacmp.com? Yep, there it is. There you go. So that was, so tomorrow, so this Thursday, sorry, is it Thursday? Wednesday, thank you. Whew. It's at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please, so we have some really good group panel discussion happening. And group discussion again. So please join us again for a tour event. And then the last event on the 31st, we show that, please? Bang! Megan Wills and Stuart, sorry, and Sarah James Vaughn, who are going to then discuss self-care. All right, so please, let's join these conversations. If you know somebody who could, will see value in them, share with them. It's free. Why not? All you gotta do is show up at home. You don't even have to put on your nice shirt, jacket, whatever. I get it. It's the pandemic, but it's still a good look to show and share information. Another thing too, also rate this event, please and thank you. And let us know if it was helpful. We want to know how we can be better as an organization and how we can continue to support our African descent community. So on behalf of the ACMP team, on behalf of the Black Student Union, on behalf of everyone else who joined, may I appreciate you, and myself, thank you very much. Have a good night. Please fill out the poll. It's important. It's how we learn to be better. Thank you. Much appreciated.